This video will see what's the difference between a date value in Excel and what is date value function in Excel. There's a slight difference in between these two. Let's understand it better by understanding what is date value first. So the first question was, what is date value in Excel? Microsoft Excel for Windows identifies the dates from January 1, 1900 to December 31, 1999. This is the default date system that is present in Microsoft Excel. So a date falling between this range is identified and it is stored as a numerical value. Now Excel stores, what does it does is Excel stores these dates. Okay, suppose we are taking this as the first date, January 1, 1900. So it will store this date in its software as a numerical value. And since it's the starting date, it will assign this date as the numerical value 1. So, and then it stores the sequential numbers with the sequential series by giving a sequential series of numerical values so that they can be used in calculations. So let's understand it better with this example. By default, if you're taking January 1, 1900, which is a serial number 1, and if January 1, 2008, the numerical value or the serial number that is stored in Excel for this date is 39,448. So why this is given? Because it is 39,447 days after January 1, 1900. So this number is given because it is this many days after January 1, 1900. So only this storing the value in a numerical format is what is date value in a numerical format. The date value function is how, if you want to know the date, okay, and now the date value function, if you want to know the date of the value of the numerical value of the date function, you have to use the date value function where you give the date, the argument, the text in the date format, and you can derive this, the numerical value for that date. So in simple terms, you can say again, I'm going to repeat this. A date value is nothing but a numerical value that is given to each date from January 1, 1900 to 31 December 9099, 999. So this is, and for each and every date, there is a unique number. And this can be derived from date value, where you give the date in a text argument. So we will have a series of dates here, and we are taking 4 years, 1900, 1950, 2000, and 2026. Now, and the dates we are taking is here, 1st to 5th Jan. Okay. So this is the starting year that the Excel identifies, which is the first date, Jan 1, 1900. And next, as a sequential, as the date is as the data is given in sequential orders, we have this date values also get stored in the sequential order. You can see this in the formula for the second Jan, it is 202 1900, and we have derived the date value, which is 2. So, and similarly, so it is given, we are getting the numbers in the ascending order according to the dates that is given. And if you're doing the date value for 1950 and double clicking on this, let's see what value we have got. So this means that this date is 18,263 days beyond the first date, which is Jan 1, 1900. And if you're seeing this date, which is in Jan 1, 2000, will be in how many days? So it is going to be 36 days, 525 days from Jan 1, 1900. So like that, every date is given a numerical value. So, and to get that numerical value, you will be using a date value function by giving the date in text document. Text document means we have to give the date in double quotations. So here, this is the last date, and we have the numerical value for the last date that Excel identifies. But there is a value error in this and this column, and let's see why the value error is there by double clicking this. Now we have given the date text in double quotations and with Jan 1, but we have given 1899 here. See, the date text document is given 1899. As I told you that 1900 is the first date that is going to Jan 1st, but we have taken a date earlier, okay, 1 year before. And then Excel will not recognize because by default, it is not going to recognize these dates as they're not stored in any numerical value. So that's why it will give a value error. And here we have tried to increase one more year. So this is the last year that the Excel identifies, that is 9,999. So we added one more year, which is 10,000. And we tried to derive the date value of Jan 1, but we have got, and if we press enter, we are getting a date value again. The dates beyond 9,999 years are not stored as any date values. So as any numerical value in the Excel. So they will give return a value error. So any date that falls, okay, beyond this date value range, then it will show a value error. Now, let's understand what's date value function. Date value, we have understood that it is a numerical value that is stored in Excel and it is unique for each and every date. Okay, now to get that date value, and if you have to understand a date value, you have to use the date value functions. Okay, so now we use this date value in Excel. Suppose sometimes a date is entered in text format, then this date value will convert it into a numerical type of the date or into the date format using the Microsoft Excel's date time code. So, and you can then convert the text format of the date into the short date or long date or whichever customized format you want. So this is about the difference between date and date value. I hope I've cleared many of your doubts. If you have further clarifications or need any clarifications, do follow this channel. And I think you should watch this video twice or thrice to better understand what exactly is date value and date value function. And thank you for watching.